are. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Painting Happy Little Minis, where we take miniatures from your favorite games and apply paint, as is...
Pretty much.
Yeah, what we do.
Sometimes we apply it well, sometimes not so much.
Not so much. I'm Rick.
I'm Dave.
And today we're going to be doing some Live Long and Prosper Star Wars miniatures.
Man, you guys are all about crossing the streams. Don't be crossing the streams.
Wait, but how is that crossing the streams? They're both in space. Makes sense.
Science fiction, right?
Yeah, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. But like last Thursday, we painted some Star Wars miniatures. Today we're going to do a couple more, and these are going to be characters that have either been created or will be created on our building character for the Star Wars RPG.
Yep. Who do we have on the spinner?
All right, so currently we have the guy right there with the pistol is Netflix.
Yep.
Net with two T's, as
Two T's.
He is the junior.
Yep.
Then
and also
we
to
have,
save us from
what?
Also to save us from many lawsuits.
Yeah, from many lawsuits. And then right there, the lightsaber wielding purple-haired guy is Tracklin. And then Starwire. Right there, Slick Starwire is the blue-headed character. I am working on the Hammerhead Mystic, which we did on building character last week.
Cool.
But his name is actually escaping me right now.
Snazzy is his last
Snazzy.
Vax Morad Snazzy.
Yeah, that's
Vax,
right.
Vix
Morad
Snazzy.
Snazzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then you're working on the female Wookiee, which has not been done yet, but will be this Thursday's episode of Building Character.
Yep. Should be cool. I'm starting with a kind of a blonde kind of look.
Nice.
So I'm going a little bit different, but I'm going to, I think, blend the base coat through the model.
Okay.
To have some sort of variation, and then I'm going to put a wash over it and a little bit of a dry brush once that wash dries. But
nice.
Yeah, should be good.
So, who went and watched Solo, a Star Wars movie this weekend?
I did.
Yep, I did too. Johnny did.
I did.
Leona did not.
Leona
says she hates Star Wars.
No, I did not say that.
But when I mentioned everybody wanting to cross the streams, that was Leona wanting to cross like 40K on Star Wars.
Oh. Did she do that already?
She already did that. You missed it.
I did.
But I was just going to show off my shirt. There we go.
I love it. The Kessel run.
The Kessel Fun Run.
It's so good.
Yep. From Foremost to Kessel. Sponsored by the Corellian Engineering Corps. Okay. Glitter Stim Spice Mines.
It's a good shirt.
It's a good one. I like it. T-shirtbordello.com.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're great stuff.
I think one of the shirts I have from T-Shirt Bordello is NPC.
Right.
So a non-player character that says "Do not maim, harm, or, basically, don't come at me, bro."
Right.
Because I might have, valuable information for your quest.
Right. Excellent. Cool. So yeah, who else in the chat saw the movie? This is an incredible opportunity for Rick, for me seeing it the first opening weekend.
So I will warn you guys that there might be some spoilers dropped if you haven't seen it. But I feel like most people that would be in our chat has seen it.
You're saying if people cared?
Yeah, if they truly cared about the Star Wars universe, they would have seen it already.
Seen it already, I see.
Now, let me ask you this, Rick, though. We waited almost 2 weeks before we mentioned anything about Avengers Infinity War. 1 weekend passes and we're already talking about Star Wars?
It was a long weekend.
It's true.
Fair point.
Memorial Day. So.
Facebook app.
So I think, I'm going to be as vague as possible during the whole discussion of it. But
some things about it you can talk about, because if you go to IMDb, you're going to see that certain actors are portraying certain characters.
Yeah, but what if you avoid going to IMDb?
And you just don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, we have Peter, Josh, Carl, 1 Inch Heroes, Nick, Gretchen and KL
All right.
in the chat. And KL asked, how do we know it is a female?
That's okay. I don't know how to discern between a female Wookiee and a male Wookiee, but when we do the character build on Thursday
You
or
want
on
it to
Friday,
be a
it will be a
female.
female.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the reason is because I want there to be more than, this character right here, Vic, could be a female as well. Vic Moran. And everybody just calls him Vicky or her Vicky. Could be a female as well. But, I feel like there needs to be more female characters in the party. And why not a Wookiee? A freaking rip
Sure.
your arms off.
Because apparently she can still tear your arms off.
Yeah.
Speaking of tearing arms off, that was a great scene.
That
Strong
was.
female characters in movies. What's
What-
stronger than a Wookiee?
What's stronger than Wookiees?
Nothing.
In the Star Wars universe? A Rancor.
Yep. Obviously, not a Gundark.
No. Not
Because
at all.
they can have their arms ripped off by
By a Wookiee.
a Wookiee.
Yes.
So,
I really think that, there's going to be people obviously out there in the interwebs that are going to talk, down and poorly about the Solo movie, but I really enjoyed it in that it had a very Casablanca feel
okay.
to me, and with a dash of like the Maltese Falcon.
Okay.
You know,
I haven't seen either of those films.
okay.
Also, Steve says hello.
Hey,
Thanks,
everybody. If you guys haven't been in the group chat or in the Facebook group for Painting Happy Little Minis, go there if you haven't joined it yet, because Carl actually put a picture up of he's working on
Dragons Don't
Share as well.
Oh, awesome.
And his stonework looks really good.
Cool.
But these miniatures, if you guys don't know already, these miniatures are from Imperial Assault by Fantasy Flight Games. But they're so good that I want to use them in an RP
RPG.
fashion. Yeah.
So using it's Force and Destiny, is that the name of the?
Yeah, that's the guidebook,
okay.
source book we've been using. But the Wookiee is not going to be Force sensitive.
Oh, okay.
It's the only one in the party that is not.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of backstory the viewers
Oh, everybody
come
comes
up with.
Yeah.
For the Wookiee.
What do you think of that? How's that looking?
It looks pretty cool.
Gretchen said she's loving the gradient for the base coat.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's fun. to
I
mess
got to
around.
get Gretchen in here for painting Happy Little Minis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Dave, what colors did you start out with for this so far?
I've started out so far. I'm using. Here we go. Desert yellow. Oh, sorry.
Yep, you're good.
There we go. Keep switching the cameras on me. Desert yellow from the Vallejo model color range, and red leather is the second one. What I'm going to do now, just add a little bit more depth to that base coat, is mix some charred brown in as well. And this will go into all the sort of pit areas. So the armpit, the knee pit,
Ah,
the butt pit.
makes sense. Anywhere there's a fold, a skin fold.
Yep.
Will it go into the Brad pit?
The Brad pit, exactly.
What about the Sarlacc pit?
The Sarlacc pit. This is where it comes from. It comes from the Sarlacc pit. So,
So, did you enjoy the main actor and how he portrayed
I did.
think he did a great job.
Solo?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he did a great job.
I think there was a lot of, I think it did a great job of portraying the sort of quick thinking, the always looking for an angle kind of feel. Very rogue,
Yeah.
roguish sort of.
Kind of a scruffy nerf herder type. Did a good job.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, James says hello.
Hey,
Hey,
James.
everyone.
definitely enjoyed it.
I heard some people complain that they didn't try and make him look like Harrison Ford at all.
Okay.
I don't think they needed to. You know, I think just the wit in his voice alone kind of modulated to the, you know, he sounded like Han Solo.
Yeah, and the dialogue was great.
Yeah. I think a standout character in the whole thing too was L3.
Right.
The android that was the co-pilot to Beckett.
Right.
Or not Beckett. Yeah, Beckett.
Lando.
Lando's co-pilot, yeah.
Yeah.
That character was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to my quarters. You need anything? Equal rights.
I think the only thing that threw me about L3 was it sounded a bit like Gwendolyn Christie.
Yes.
What was
Johnny
that?
said yes.
No, I'm disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
He said yes.
I'm trying to think. I actually looked up who the actress was that played L3.
Yeah.
And I would not have put the voice to the character.
Right.
Or to the actress.
Right.
Yeah. But I think, because I was sitting here going, it sounds like the actress who plays the ancient one from Doctor Strange. Or the Ice Queen from...
Tilda Swinton?
Yeah, Tilda Swinton. Because that's what I thought it was.
Right.
Just based on the voice, but nope.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't go and look it up.
Another interesting...
Her name is Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Waller-Bridge, yeah.
Okay.
Another one that I was like super surprised was who did the voice was one of Beckett's teammates, the four-armed guy.
Oh, yeah?
His pilot was Jon Favreau.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't pick that.
There's more I want to say, but these have been very vague and non-story, you know, breaking.
They're not spoilers.
Yeah.
They haven't spoiled anything.
Because I really enjoyed it. That's all I can say. The new ships they introduced, the speeder, the land speeder, the swoops.
Hang on a second. I'm just gonna say the reason I'm not painting on it at the moment is there are a few areas in there that I just need to let dry before I jump right in. But no, I think you're exactly right. Everything was
so good.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Getting to see more of the planets as well.
Yeah.
It was always cool. Seeing Corellia. What that was like.
Yeah. That was a mess, is what that was.
Yep.
Nick says L3 gives new meaning when CP30 says, "Sir, I don't know where your ship learned to communicate, but it has the most peculiar dialect."
You're right.
Yep.
That was Nick.
Right. Nick. You're right, Nick.
But yes, Nick, that is what...
Spot on.
I didn't even think about that because that does happen in the later movies where C-3PO is communicating with the ship.
It's enough.
I ain't giving away anything. I'm saying that it makes sense now. And what a cool nod to that particular thing.
No, definitely.
Dang it.
We're going to have the whole story out by the end of
It's fine. Honestly, you should ask people if they, like, we get, like, 3 thumbs up. Can they just spoil it all? Like...
Well, let's move on to a different approach. You went and saw it at the drive-in.
I did.
You went and saw it at Benji's, which is the local drive-in here in Baltimore.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And you went to the 4-movie
The Dusk Till Dawn marathon.
So it was Coco. Was that the first time you'd seen Coco?
No, I had already seen Coco.
Okay. Did you enjoy it as much the second time?
I did. I mean, I think it's a very well done animated feature. Again, the whole taking the nod of Mexican lore, Latino lore of the Day of the Dead and all that stuff, and family. Really, you know, it's good.
I took my daughters to it, and of course I cried during the film.
It was raining, so it could have been just rain.
I could have just
yeah. Because I was sitting out in my lawn chair in front of the car, watching the movie, and it wasn't like torrential downpouring like it did Sunday.
Right.
But it rained a little bit. It was kind of more like a misty rain.
Right.
So yeah, it may have caused some wetness there.
Right.
But then, so right after Coco was Solo.
Yep.
Which is I mean, what a great experience to be able to watch it in the drive-in, just like I did when I watched it as a child,
Right.
New Hope in
Yeah.
'77. And then after that was Avengers Infinity War.
Yep.
So that was my third time watching that.
Right.
And then Black Panther,
Right.
which is kind of odd. You would think they put Black Panther before Infinity War.
Yeah.
Just because of timeline continuity.
What happens in the Infinity War?
Right.
In the Infinity Wars?
Yeah. But they didn't do it like that, but
Did
that's
you,
okay.
did you stay awake for all of it?
No.
Okay.
No, I did nap off a little bit during Infinity War, just because it was, like I said, I'd already seen it a couple times, and I was getting tired. And by the time Sunday rolled around and I'm back home, I was hurting.
Yeah.
I was out.
I was wondering how early I should text you.
Oh yeah, anytime is fine, especially if you want to talk Star Wars and Dathomir. What?
Who?
Huh?
Okay, so ready to apply the wash now. You can see how much detail are in these models. You get to put the wash over the base coat like that.
They're really good.
Yeah.
So Facebook is acting crazy on my phone. Every time I try to go to share it, the app closes down.
Oh. Sounds like it's a bit glitchy. So in that case, we'll turn to our friends in the chat and ask you all to share the show in the appropriate places around the interwebs where people might enjoy listening to Rick talk about how he fell asleep during Infinity War.
Hey!
Oh, no, sorry. You don't want to talk about that?
Inaccurate.
Guesses.
All right, I'm not going to mess with that right now. But yeah, if you would be so kind as to share it, if you're in any Star Wars groups or terrain building or painting groups, please share it. We'd like to get more folks seeing what we got going on here.
All the eyes.
Yeah,
This is working out pretty well.
I agree. I just wish we could just unleash the knowledge.
We'll have to wait until after the show and then we can talk about it.
Yeah. The girl was Amelia Clark.
Yep, Amelia Clark.
I think she did a great job with the character she portrayed.
Yep.
Woody Harrelson's character was awesome. The character that appears to be the bad guy, the biker,
All right. Yep. One of the
pirate characters, was a surprisingly awesome twist and character in and of itself.
Yep.
I was like, what?
Good. There we go. How's that looking?
That looks all right, I guess. I mean,
I need to sit him down to dry for a little bit. So while I'm doing that, I'm actually going to keep grab Slick. I'm going to put a wash over Slick.
all right.
Okay, so we've got Slick here that Rick painted last week. And so he's got a lot of areas like the silvers and the green backpack, the orange jacket. All of them would sort of be really helped by a wash. So I'm going to use Agrax Earthshade here from GW. But Strong Tone from the Army Painter is another one that would work quite well as long as you don't drop the model. National television.
National television. If only, right? If we had some of that national TV money, that would be great.
Technically, it is national television. It can be national television if you're watching it on your television.
That's true.
Some people have that ability.
The throw the YouTube channel up on their TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
There we go.
we'll just give a little bit of extra depth to the Slick Star Wire, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and he's the tech guy.
He is our tech guy. He is a architect, or I'm sorry,
Artisan.
Sentinel
Artisan.
artisan
Right.
who uses the Force to help make amazing gadgets and gizmos. However, he
plenty.
right, he doesn't truly feel that the Force guides him. That it's through his own natural skill that he's able to do all this stuff. Even though
skills and abilities, right?
yeah, it's kind of a naysayer to the Force, even though he absolutely is a Force-sensitive wielder.
Right. Would he kind of be like Han Solo in the... Well, not Han Solo was Force-sensitive, but in
New Hope, where he's like talks smack.
Yeah, it talks about the hokey religions. Ancient weapons and hokey religions. No match for a good blaster.
Good blaster? No, not so much, because he knows that he can manipulate the Force.
Right.
But he doesn't feel like it truly guides him or is the reason behind all of his successes.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
He just is like, yeah, it's just another tool in my toolbox. You know.
Cool.
One in Chiro says, I just painted a bunch of Duro troopers for Star Wars Legion. They have fun heads.
They do.
All right.
They're big, bulbous blue heads.
Yep. What I'm doing here is just taking some of that wash off the top of that bulbous blue head. Make sure the blue sort of shines. Leave it a little bit around the nose and the mouth. A little bit glossy at the moment, but that'll disappear as the wash dries. You see how that's just picked out?
Yeah.
Quite a lot. So yeah, nice.
Gave it some good depth.
Yep. So put him aside. Kamak, the yet-to-be-named Wookiee, is still
That's going to be fun.
drying there.
For those of you that tune in on Thursday or Friday for building character, it's going to be fun to get everybody's input on the name of that Wookiee. I think I have to pick up a book too, because it's not going to be the Force and Destiny guidebook, source book for that character build. I think it's going to have to be Edge of the Empire.
Right.
Shane says hello.
Shane!
Excellent.
Need to get you up here, Shane. Paint some miniatures with us.
That would be good.
Oh, James says, I may not get into this one. Too much Warhammer.
Too much Warhammer going on?
to do Legion as well, or Imperial Assault as well.
Right.
That makes sense.
That's cool. Over the weekend, Games Workshop announced some stuff for their next Warhammer 40,000 Codex.
Okay.
It's releasing, which is the Imperial Knights Codex. So,
What is that all about?
that's all about, actually. Oh, now it's going to be me crossing the streams.
Uh-oh.
So bringing this dude just in case we were going to be painting the armigers, the armiger warglaves from Forgebane. Look at that guy there. I think I'm just going to zoom in on him. Yep. So that's an Imperial Knight.
That's the Imperial Knight. That thing's monstrous, by the way.
Crusader, I think, if I remember correctly.
Jeez.
So, yeah, that is pretty big. There's a Wookiee.
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely huge. So yeah, these massive constructs are built by the Imperium and have been around for 10,000 years.
Okay.
And Games Workshop released the models about 4 years ago, the first of the models, and now they're doing the new update for 8th edition.
Okay.
So they're going to have some new smaller knights.
Okay.
The armigers that first appeared in the Forgebane box. They've got a couple more that are coming with extra guns, different sort of loadouts.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a huge knight. When I say huge, it's apparently about 1 or 2 inches taller than this one.
Okay.
With all the guns.
All the guns.
Yeah, so it's got 2 guns on the arms, it's got guns up around the sort of head there.
Okay.
And then 2 more guns up on the carapace.
That's just ridiculous.
So yeah, it should be pretty cool. But obviously, with those big guys, you only get 5 of them in your army.
Only 5?
Only 5. Only 5 in the army. maybe 6. If you go for some of the a couple of the armigers, you have like
That's
7 or 8.
ridiculous. Jeez.
1 Inch Hero says, too much Warhammer? No such thing.
No such thing as too much.
Mini Painting Studios told us he donated the Imperial Salt that he won to a local charity auction, raising funds at a comic shop.
Oh, very
Nice.
cool.
Good.
And also Steve has a question. Hey Dave, I'm still having issues with washes. How do you know what wash to use for each mini? For instance, I use war paints from Artemy Painter, and I use the dark wash, flesh wash, light wash, and strong wash.
Okay. It's a good question. Depending on, it really depends on the sort of the final result that you're looking for. But typically if you're just using washes as a nice simple shade, you go for a color that's not too different from the original color. So if I was putting a wash over white to use that as a shade and then I'd highlight it back up to white, I'd go with a light, like the light tone from Army Painter. If I've got a dark brown, so if I started painting this, for example, with the charred brown over here, so this one is nice and dark, I'd put a black wash over that. So I think it's the dark tone from Army Painter. With this, because it's kind of a mid-brown that I was starting with, I used Agrax Earthshade, which is very similar to the strong tone from the Army Painter. So if you're not uncertain, start with the lightest, because you can always go darker if it doesn't sort of work out too well. But if you start with the darkest immediately, you can't come back from that. You have to sort of let it all dry, respray it, and start again. So that's my suggestion there. Colors like pretty much greens, blues, reds, yellows, oranges all work with brown washes.
Okay.
They can all work with brown washes. Just gives a nice sort of different sort of depth. You might think, well, you use a green wash on green or a blue wash on blue. You can do that for sure, and that'll give you your tonal shading.
Right.
But using other washes like browns and so on can help add extra depth to the and get different contrasts.
All right.
If you get super adventurous, thinning down some purple wash when you're shading yellows.
Really?
Don't put it over the whole thing, but just in the deepest shadows. Again.
Okay.
Where's that from?
Your color wheel.
Color wheel.
Yeah.
American Girl.
Woohoo! Which is right here. Da-da-da, the color wheel.
So yeah, look for colors that are opposite each other. So sort of darker green washes can work well over reds.
Okay.
And using a little bit of red, putting a little bit of red into a brown wash will work really well over greens as well. That's some sort of advanced sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's more advanced than what I am doing.
Than what you're doing right now?
Well, what I do in general.
You got to start somewhere.
True.
Okay, so this wash is still drying. It's usually why I don't use washes on the show, but we're getting there. I'll ask folks in the chat actually. So I've got these 2 blades on here. There's the sort of a tonfa style blade here, and then a more sword style blade. What color should I do those? What do people think? What should I do?
Electric blue.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm kind of thinking blue.
Are you really?
Yeah, because I got some orange in there with the red leather. So
Dang it.
it could work. You were just trying to be smart, weren't you?
Yeah, just trying to be a comic. Which obviously
humor.
fail.
And here's the funny part, is that now that I'm actually just getting into some of the details, I just remembered.
Yes.
I left my glasses at home. Fail. So,
All right.
what do people think?
Also, Todd says, so what you're saying, there's no coming back from the dark side?
Was that Todd Duma?
Yes. And then Steve asked, how do you get rid of the muddy look?
The muddy look? Steve, can you elaborate? What do you mean by the muddy look?
Shane says something organic for the color.
Oh, okay.
For the color of the blade,
Color
sorry.
of the blades. Right,
It's
so
kinda
not,
like-
so not blue, not electric blue.
Well, that's organic. It's in the world.
Well, like it's kind of like I was saying. It's like if they were made out of like a bone, you know, like a rib bone or something sharp
Yeah.
off a crate dragon's rib bones.
Okay. I was just trying to give something that was a little bit less.
Boring.
I
What?
guess
Wow.
I was going to say boring, but the mini itself is browns,
Yeah.
and bone is like a really light brown, or a brownish off-white. So something that's different.
It should be a jade blade.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
actually
Okay.
kind of cool.
Done. Sorted. Be like a dark jade. Just going to finish off this base for you, Rick.
All right.
That's one.
Also, Mini Painting Studios
There we
is said got new glasses on Friday. Realized they used the wrong RX, so you had to return them
Oh
today.
man,
So
bad
he is
prescription.
commiserating with you in the fact that you don't have glasses.
And my inability to see.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm digging around. Not finding the color I'm looking for. Yep. Keep focusing on what Rick's doing.
Which is making a mess. I am literally making a mess
Cool. Why are you making a mess, Rick?
because I'm mixing some yellows and red
Ah, there it is.
for my character here.
Yeah.
Oh, Shane says it could be like a pearl white color,
Yeah. Trying to avoid the.
iridescent. That's why I said like this down.
Trying to avoid the. Anything in that warm spectrum, I guess. So I'm going to start.
Oh, Steve says the parts I don't want washed leave smears.
Oh, okay. So you're putting you're
I
applying
think
the
he's
wash
saying he's
over the.
applying a wash and then it's
Yeah.
kind of smearing on the surfaces he doesn't want.
Right. Okay. It's leaving a muddy kind of look. Two approaches there. Sometimes using both of them is just fine. Is rather than putting the wash over the whole surface, thin it down a little bit and put it in the areas that you want sort of shaded. So let's have just because we've got a huge model here, I can use this as an example. If you can zoom in on the shoulder pad here.
Got it.
Yep. Okay, so this is a little bit different because it was done with
An
actually done
airbrush?
with an airbrush. Yeah, but you see the shading in around the edges here.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you can do that is if the whole thing was red, and you use some something like Agrex Earthshade or the Strong Tone, thin it down and paint it into those around those edges, and then do what I like to make sure my paintbrushes is a little bit of feathering. So while you've got the wash pooling along the bottom line there, along there, is you just start to sort of feather that up a little bit to bring up that shade. And so you're not doing it over the whole surface. So you can do that, Or if you have done it over the whole surface, you come back and highlight those colors back up. So, for example, on Slick here, you can see some of those oranges look a little bit muddy on the highlights, which is probably what you're getting, Steve. We can go back and highlight that orange with the paint. Which paint did you use?
For what?
The orange on his jacket.
The
Do you have
orange. Lava orange.
Okay.
And this right here.
Okay, that was the base.
Yeah.
Dry rust. Cool. So, come back with the lava orange. So once the wash is dried, of course. And you can pick that, sort of highlight those areas again. And we can actually, what we'll do here is make this a little bit lighter so it's easy to see that highlight.
Have a good one, James. He says
Oh.
he's out.
James is
Back to work.
getting out, okay.
Oh yeah,
Hi,
Cannon
James.
had said, by the way, Rick, the one that you're painting, he's painted for his own character as well.
Oh, so he plays it. You play this character.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And he said he'll repost his version.
Yeah, it's gonna look amazing.
Also, Timothy says, hello, Dave.
Hey, Tim.
And then Mark says, I give Solo a B-.
Okay.
What about you guys?
I give it an A.
A+. plus.
Wow.
I thought it was good.
I agree.
At no point was I unhappy.
Okay.
Or was I bothered by anything?
Yeah.
It was all quite cool. But that's me.
I mean, it was really good, and I love a lot of the little Easter egg teasers that you're like, ah,
That you're really desperate to talk about right now?
yeah, I can't.
Why not? I just talk about it.
Because I mean, I like to talk about it when I want to just scream to the world, edge of the world, all of my love for my fandoms with all of you that are also fans of Star Wars. But I don't, in case someone didn't watch it yet, I don't want to be that guy that totally ruins it for them.
Yeah.
Also, Mini Painting Studio says, painting the Kingdom Death Phoenix today.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, wow. Excellent. You doing that on the stream, Josh? That would be a cool one to watch.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All those
Race
Kingdom
on 'em.
Death miniatures are sick.
They are.
Chantel says, what's up, boys? And lady voice coming from somewhere.
Yes.
That's Leona.
Clive said,
Our very own disembodied voice.
Right, yes, actually. Clive said, I think Solo felt too Disney.
Okay.
Okay.
See how we don't have a lot to say to that?
We disagree, but
Oh, Steve says, thanks, Dave. I'll try that.
yeah, just give that sort of both of those techniques a go.
It makes sense with when you were talking about the pull at the crease and then bring it up
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
pulling that sort of back.
to help.
What I've discovered, like, not really discovered, but what I generally do is I do a lot of feathering, which is really the sort of the way that I apply paint when I'm doing highlights or shades. So it's a little bit different to blending. Blending requires sort of a bit of a steadier hand and
Yeah.
a little bit more patience bringing two wet colors together. Whereas most of what I do is sort of highlighting over something else. So when I talk about feathering, if I'm highlighting this sort of brown patch here on my palette, if I'm going to highlight it up along here, so I'll paint that in, and then to help blend that through, I'll sort of create that sort of almost like a mini cross-hatching
Okay.
kind of thing. So that it's called feathering because it ends up with the appearance of the veins in the feather.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my highlighting is done that way, though.
Sebastian asks, why do you keep putting the brush in your mouth?
That's
Delicious.
a good question. It is delicious.
Magically delicious?
Magically delicious. No, it's two reasons. One, completely out of habit. I've been doing it for such a long time. But when I wash my brush off, I can dab it on my paper towel and sort of roll it to keep the point on it. But the best way to keep the point on it is just to run it through my mouth there, and it keeps a nice point on the brush.
That is it.
Yep, that's completely it.
And you love eating paint. It's like
Yeah.
your favorite flavor.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing, but
It's your second.
it's right up there.
Second
Yeah.
flavor.
Vegemite.
Right after Vegemite.
Right after Vegemite.
Dave's
Yeah.
favorite flavor is Tinny Tin. No wonder he likes it so much.
Delicious.
And what is that leather color?
Red leather.
Red leather. You
Red
love red leather.
Red leather, cavalry brown, tastes like horses.
Yummy.
No, yeah, that's the only reason. The paints are non-toxic. So
Are you sure?
I believe so.
Didn't you say they're acrylic?
They are acrylic.
How can they be non-toxic?
Well, sure, I mean, if I eat a lot of it and eventually get acrylic buildup, I'm sure that's going to be a problem. But they're not like lead paints.
Okay,
That'll
I see
send me
what you're
crazy
saying.
really quickly. But yeah.
Yay, Michigan.
Yeah.
Sebastian
Speaking of
says,
sending you crazy.
good trick, thank you. He said thank you.
Oh, for the feathering?
Yeah.
Cool. No worries. Sometimes it's really tough to explain feathering.
And I think for the brush point.
Oh, the brush point. Yeah. But,
And Shane says, I thought Solo was great. A nice small bite of Star Wars. Love seeing Solo and Chewie meet.
Yeah, that was really cool.
yeah.
The origin to their friendship.
And that's part of Star Wars lore. Like, that whole meeting and interaction is canon, that they've translated to screen.
Right. Oh, that,
At
so
least
that
I thought it was, if I'm not mistaken.
so that's been somewhere else. Is it in
I
a
think
novel?
so. It's
or-
either, I think that has been in a novel or a comic book or some form of media.
Okay.
The original telling was that Solo was part of a group that was basically, they had enslaved a bunch of Wookiees. He was, they were just treating him super poorly. And he helped stage their escape. So it's very similar in some capacity,
Yeah.
but told a little bit differently, and I feel like this telling of it in Solo was better.
Than the way it had been told previously.
Yes.
Do you think this one kind of fit a bit more with Han's personality?
Absolutely.
Right.
Also, Timothy says, thousands of painters poisoned due to Dave Taylor's tip.
I'm just gonna say,
Film at 11.
I've been doing this for. It's like iocane powder. You got to build
Yeah,
up a resistance to it,
And Steve
and
says,
it's only found in Australia.
non-toxic, but not part of your daily recommended vitamins.
No, it's certainly not nutritious.
Vitamin acrylic?
It's not nutritious at all.
Dang it.
Tinny Tin, is this part of a balanced breakfast?
I agree.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I've been doing it for so long, and I know a lot of other people who do it as well, that it still it surprises me when people comment on it.
Yeah, when people are still...
So, well, and you just got to remember that people haven't seen it before,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, that's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, everybody's entrance into the hobby is at different times, and
Yep.
their exposure to different things is different.
And I'm kind of weird. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, what?
That's what I'm hearing.
No, I mean, because I do it too. I've been doing it for years.
You hear the backpedaling?
Oh, that's not pedaling. Backpedaling.
No, Dave. You're not weird.
I lick my brushes as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I've been doing that since painting ceramics.
Oh. That tastes terrible.
Yeah. Many, many moons ago when my grandmother owned a ceramic shop.
Like one of those paint.
Yeah, where people come in and they can pour their own molds.
Oh, right,
Pick
okay.
a mold, pour it, kiln it,
Come back
and paint it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But also she would do a bunch of them, you know, she would pour and paint them and have them ready for like country craft shows and stuff as well, different product. Or she'd just sell pre-painted stuff.
Right.
And I used to paint a lot of stuff for her.
A lot of the pre-painted stuff?
Yeah. This is back when I was like 10 to 14.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. And then you had the big break and you lost all your skills.
I didn't have skills then either. Actually, I did. I had.
Yeah.
But it was oddly, it was a slightly different skill set.
Yeah.
In that,
Yeah, I'm sure.
you know, you don't prime them.
Right. Yeah.
And did a lot of glazing.
Yeah. And I think for miniatures, you get to see the results much faster.
Yes.
You don't have to wait around and hope that it doesn't explode in the kiln.
Oh my God, yeah. If there's air bubbles in there and stuff, and they expand and pop the frickin' things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thea says from earlier,
Yeah.
I believe, says just don't pull the old art student stunt of accidentally drinking your paint water instead of whatever your beverage, because
Right.
it may be simultaneously trying to consume.
Well, here's the thing. Never accidentally drink it. Just drink it. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I have done that.
That's not good.
Have you really?
Yeah. Gross.
I think a lot of people have, or like wash your brush out in your coffee
Yes.
or tea or something.
Or like your tea. You're just
I
like,
know a lot of English people too. Could have been iced tea.
that's what I was trying to say.
Oh. Sweet tea.
A lot of southern
Sun
people.
tea.
Man. Crazy.
Does it seem humid in here today?
Yes.
Like there's a lot of moisture in the air because I don't
Yeah.
feel like our miniatures are drying quite as fast as they usually do.
I think you're right.
You need a fan.
We do.
We have a bunch of them, right?
Well,
Dun, dun,
they're watching, but whether they're fans or not.
Dave.
But no, I think you're right. The rate of drying of the paint is very slow.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the moisture from the this past weekend's rain deluge that caused Ellicott City to get flooded again.
Yeah. You know, I looked that up.
Mm-hmm.
14 times in the
That's-
last 150 years.
Yeah.
Downtown
What?
Ellicott City is flooded.
Just 2 years ago, it flooded.
Yep.
Yeah.
And 7 years ago, it flooded.
Hmm.
3 times since I've been in the country. How about
Move, people. Or build a levee around that dang river that goes right downtown.
They need to fix the.
There's a-
They need to have civil engineering come in and fix it.
There's
But,
a lot of things they need to do. Yeah.
One Enchiro says that's a rite of passage. Everyone will take a gulp from the mug of non-beverage sooner or later.
Yes.
And Craig says, "Hello, I'm late. What are we painting?"
Hey, Craig. We're painting a little bit more Star Wars.
Yeah. From the Fantasy Flight Games Imperial Assault line. Some miniatures I pulled out of. This one is from the Bespin box set. The Hammerhead here is from the Bespin box set and is part of the building characters. It's actually the character we did last Friday on building character.
Yours is, yes.
Yeah, Vic Moran
Murad Snazi.
Snazi is this one's character's name. And then Dave is doing a Wookiee who will be a female for this week's building character. So if you're watching this now, tune in on Friday at 2 p.m. to help us come up with a whole backstory and history and stats and all the fun things that we do when we do building character.
And a reason why her blades are sort of a jade kind of look, which we can't really see on this. I'm going to get much closer.
If you face it forward,
Yep.
I can get a better color
Better color match.
sense. Yeah.
There we go.
Does that work?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks great. It's the bright green of the Castle Fun Run. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you.
Oh, also Carl says I heard it was an upstream development that's causing the flooding. So developments aren't as effective as absorbing rain as the woods, which definitely could be a thing over there.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Actually, I had a quick chat with somebody on the weekend who did a lot of the surveying after the last flood.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, they're not going to spend the time or the money that would be required to fix that all up.
Wow. So they just have to deal with it, huh?
Yeah, so pretty much expect in the next couple of years there'll be another flood.
Wow.
Which is a shame, because it's a great area.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
But as I said, 14 times in the last 150 years.
It's crazy. And 3 times since you've lived here.
Yep.
I'm finally putting a wash on this guy.
There we go.
You're painting the face now?
Painting the face, yep. It's nice and easy, and just have to paint the nose a little bit darker, and then the teeth. Hooray!
Perfect.
And then...
Oh, Craig
There
says
it is.
I'm kind of
Reach
mad that
across.
they're no longer
Oh,
going
so
to count books after Return of the Jedi as canon.
What?
Yeah, Disney, I think Disney announced that
Yeah, when they
last year.
when they took the expanded universe and basically said doesn't exist.
Yep.
We're Disney. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Which sucks because there's some really good stories in the expanded universe. But they're bringing a lot of the stories from the expanded universe into the new canon, but in their own way.
Their own style.
Yeah.
Is that into like Rebels and...
Yeah, through Rebels, through the Clone Wars, through the new novels that have been put into print as well, and the comic books.
Yeah, Nick basically said what you said. They're still pulling elements from the expanded EU back into...
Yeah, just doing it in their own fashion now, which is fine. You know, because when they made the announcement that they wouldn't have, or that the expanded universe was no longer canon, a lot of people got upset because one of the most enduring characters a lot of people really like gravitated towards as a villain was Grand Admiral Thrawn. But they bring him back in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
And Carl says, I have yet to see Mara Jade, so Disney isn't bringing the best stuff in.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a Mara Jade either, because if they would have, we would have seen her already. Because in the comic or in the novels, Heir to the Empire and the Timothy Zahn stuff, Mara Jade becomes Luke's wife.
Oh.
Okay.
So that didn't work out.
So chances are...
Yep, we're not going to see that.
Well, it's not going to be like Mara Jade, a Star Wars story. It'll be what happened between when he disappeared and
Could be. I mean, they could, but
Force Awakens.
the fact that they didn't even reference any of that
Right.
kind of tells you that he just lived a life of a hermit.
Yeah, Carl agrees, like, we would have seen her by now, probably.
And if not seen her, at least she would have been referenced in conversations between Luke or Han and Leia in Force Awakens, or anybody.
Okay, that's fair enough then.
And Nick says, I love how they're bringing bridging, the gap between cartoons and the movies with Rebels and R1.
I agree.
Cameo and Solo.
I agree. I like that as well. I'm not going to expand on that information. But
What? Because I haven't seen it? Or?
no, you've seen it. You saw you saw the movie.
Right. I saw the movie.
But
for sure.
because you haven't seen the show, you're not privy to.
Oh, you're saying I don't understand
there's
the connections?
Yeah, there's some
Okay,
connections
fair
there.
We can talk about that afterwards.
Yes.
Also, Craig says a different opinion. Disney destroyed Star Wars. I haven't liked the movies that Disney has made. I kind of understand where he's coming from, but to me, I'm like, the only way for Star Wars to keep going was for a monolith like Disney to buy them out and make them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like to have the money power that they needed.
Yeah. In order to
make
continue,
them good.
you absolutely, and you needed the people. And, you know, George Lucas couldn't do it himself, obviously, even though he does have a studio with Industrial Light and Magic and all that. But you need a Disney studio to make any more of that kind of stuff happen.
Yeah. Also, Edward is asking, what kind of camera do you use?
Well, we have multiple.
We have multiple ones.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
So we have some Black Magics, which are our main wide angle, and then we have two of those in here. We technically have three. We have some Panasonic's XT1000s or XTH1000s, 4K cameras, which are the ones that we tend to do like the close-ups that when Leona.
Where you saw the
Like
green.
this one now?
Yeah. That close-up is being done with the 4K Panasonic.
Oh.
And then our overheads are some
Logitech.
I think they're 930s.
Yeah.
Logitech 930 webcams?
Yeah, webcams. So there's a lot of different cameras and tech that we got going on in here. So
Also, Nick says, I could see Mara coming in later. Remember, Luke did start a Jedi school, and a lot of his time from that era was left untold.
Right. Yep.
yeah, I mean there's a lot of options to be had to bring characters from the expanded universe back into Star Wars.
Yeah.
But Mara Jade, I don't know if they could actually do it.
I think they probably could.
Yeah, because
Not that I know who she is. but-
well, also who's going to play Luke? A younger Luke now to play. Are we gonna?
I don't know. They did it with Solo.
Exactly.
I don't know.
All sorts of ways.
I
to
think
do it.
Tom Bostic is going to have to step up.
Tom Bostic.
Yeah, Tom Bostic. He is. He's part of the local Rebel or
okay.
Alliance
Right.
cosplay group, but he also is on. I think it's A&E or True TV's Junkyard Wars,
Okay. Radio.
where they build the
Yeah.
craziest things out of stuff from the junkyard. And he's a big monster truck builder type person.
Right.
Does shows like that.
Yeah.
So.
You think he could be?
You think
He
could be
cosplays as Luke.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and he could probably pull it off.
Look at that. Here we go. I'll put the.
Yep. Add
Watch out for the base.
to our team here.
There we go. Oh, man, where is he? There he is. Slick Star Wire.
There we go.
Oh, and now you stop the spinning. It's spinning the other way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I needed to come back around so I can put. There we go. Everybody's there.
Fantastic. So Slick Star Wire,
Yeah.
Tracklin.
Tracklin is the one with the lightsaber.
Yep.
Vic Moran Snazzy right there. The
Whenever you
hammerhead.
say that, I keep thinking of Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
And then we've got Netflix and the yet-to-be-named unknown Wookiee female Muscle. There's our adventuring team for Star Wars, for the Fantasy Flight game right there, for building character. And these are all Fantasy Flight miniatures from their Imperial Assault line of
Yep.
board games and such.
Excellent.
And they look amazing. That's a cool-looking party, isn't it?
That is good.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely go.
Very cool. Well, that has been Painting Happy Little Minis, everybody. We appreciate everybody joining us today.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out Painting Happy Little Minis Facebook group. Join us there. And if you don't already follow us here on Facebook, please do. We also have a YouTube, an Instagram, a Twitter. We're on all those amazing social media platforms, so
Yep.
you don't miss out on anything we're doing here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and we do the show Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 till 3.
2 to 3.
Eastern Standard Time.
That's correct. And even when we're at Origins in 2 weeks, we will be doing a Thursday episode from Origins.
Oh, you're doing
Yeah,
one?
we're
Cool.
doing one from Origins.
Excellent. And who you're painting that with?
That is going to be with Jason
Excellent.
from Realm Smith TV.
Very cool.
We're going to be painting some miniatures from the new WizKids line
Excellent.
of stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think I saw something the other day. He said
Well, that
he wants to paint.
because I'm also joining him later in the evening
The
Oh,
beholder.
okay.
to paint with him, and we're going to paint beholders.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. That'd be
And
very
I'm like sitting here wondering, it's like, how does he have beholders? Because
I thought I was the only one
they're
who had
sold out,
beholders.
and they're sold. And I thought I bought all of them. You know, it's like, but so
You
beholders.
did. I think you did buy all of them.
I bought around this area. I bought a lot of them. But on that note, we appreciate you guys joining us. We thank you, and I'm Rick,
I'm Dave.
and we'll see you at the game store.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Game Trade Media. Before you go, we wanted to tell you about our new book, The Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games, which is available to pre-order right now.
You obviously love tabletop gaming, so do we. And this book provides a look at the history of all the different types of tabletop games, from card games like Magic the Gathering to role-playing adventures like Dungeons & Dragons, to the most classic of board games like Clue or The Game of Life.
Right. We've also got interviews with a lot of industry veterans like Peter Atkinson and influencers like Matt Mercer, plus discussions with collectors and gamers of all kinds. The book also discusses the impact of crowdfunding on the industry and looks into why board gaming is experiencing such a boom right now.
We put a lot of love, a ton as a matter of fact, into this book, and we like to think that it provides a perfect snapshot of what makes tabletop gaming and the tabletop community so great. You can pre-order your copy right now by using diamond code APR181585. So head into your local comic or game shop today and tell them you want the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games.
Thanks for watching Painting Happy Little Minis. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.